did the trend? When did the trend start?
When did the trend start? That's also important. So, what kind of things do you look at when you're looking for maybe reasons that a trend starts or something becomes popular? What are some reasons that might happen?
Sorry.
What are some reasons that a trend might become popular? Like really general reasons. For example, the travel one. What are some reasons that travel might become more popular, or why might you be observing travel be more popular, especially with your age group, which is the age group that you're talking about?
What makes the trend more popular?
Yeah, like why might it be more popular with people your age than say, like maybe middle schoolers or older adults?
From how old the do American get can get? Sorry, from how no. When can American get driver's license?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's harder for Americans to travel until at least 18, maybe 21, because I don't think you can book a hotel until you're either 18 or 21. I don't remember which. So, are you like around 20, 21?
Yeah.
Okay, so as opposed to maybe when you were like in elementary or middle school, what makes it easier for you to travel at this age than maybe at that age when you were younger?
Makes it easier to travel?
Yeah, so
Okay.
why is it easier for you to travel now than say when you were in elementary school on your own?
I have money.
Yes, you have money. And then at your age, like is there a specific age in Japan where you have control over your own money versus your parents having control over it? Is there a specific age?
Specific age.
Yeah, like when you have control over your own finances.
Maybe after entering university, so after 19 years old.
Okay, so you're over 19 and then you have control over your own finances then?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing that makes it easier. And then why else might it be easier for a college student like you to travel freely than maybe somebody older, maybe who's in their 40s or 50s?
Sorry. Okay. Can you ask again?
Why might it be easier for somebody your age, like in college, to travel independently like this versus somebody maybe who's older, like in their 40s or their 50s? So, why might it be easier for you to travel versus maybe your parents or your grandparents?
Sorry, I can understand your question, but
Is it
Sorry.
perhaps easier for a college student to travel than for somebody older, like an older adult to travel? Are there reasons it might be easier for you versus maybe your parents to travel? Like, do your parents have jobs?
yeah.
Yeah. So might it be hard for them to maybe take time off from their jobs in order to travel if they wanted to?
I got it. Yeah. They have university students have time. Time to you have time time to use freely, or they don't have. Usually they may have part-time job, but
Yeah.
yes, but they have long vacation, even if they have part-time job.
Yeah, like breaks from school. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like Thanksgiving break,
Or
Christmas break.
yeah, spring break or summer vacation.
Yeah. So they have like time in which they might be able to travel more without missing like a job or, full-time working kind of. And then, so we've talked about two important things to talk about trends, like A, what the trend is and where you're observing it, right? And then second, why might you be observing this trend with the age group that you are talking about? Is there another important thing to talk about when it comes to trends? Or that you might want to cover like in a paper about a specific trend? Besides where you are seeing it and maybe why it became popular?
Where?
Yeah.
Can I see?
Yeah, you gave the where you see it. That was one point that you talked about.
Yeah.
The second you talked about is why might it be becoming popular, or why might it be popular with this age group? So is there maybe a third topic? Because I think usually essays have at least 3 topics.
Sorry. When did it start?
That's kind of inside your second topic, because your second topic is kind of like, why is it becoming popular, or like, why now, kind of, which is kind of related to when it's becoming popular, like why is it becoming popular at this point in time?
American student, sorry. Yeah, I don't like. So, what? Sad?
Yeah, like, do you have like a third talking point? Like, I don't know if you're able to think of one. I'm not really sure what
Why?
you'd want to talk about. You could maybe divide the second topic that you just talked about with me into two separate ones, because you've talked about two kind of different things. You talked about maybe why you would observe a trend like this in younger students like yourself, and then you kind of compared maybe how it's easier for a college student to travel more freely than, say, somebody younger or somebody older. So you could divide it into those types of sections, or you could talk about it in terms of maybe when you first started seeing this trend take off. Maybe you could talk about maybe how you've seen it grow. Like, have you seen travel among college students become more popular? Have you seen it kind of like a stable popularity? Have you seen a decline in its popularity, and maybe why? Like, I have no idea. You'd have to like research it to find more specific facts about the trend, because I don't know that much about it. But you could kind of like ask yourself those kind of questions, like have you learned like the who, what, when, where, why, how?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could ask yourself those kinds of questions in order to get kind of a basic framework of how you want to structure your discussion of this trend. So, who is it affecting? College students like yourself. Who? What is it? And then we're talking about kind of just like travel in general, or did you want to talk about a more specific type of travel, like road trips versus traveling out of the country or something? I don't know. Whichever type of travel like strikes your fancy, like whichever one maybe you do more often. So I don't know if you do like road trips more often, or if you like traveling out of the country more often, or what. It don't really matter, because there's lots of different types of travel. Or you could just talk about travel in general. So what the trend is, when. So maybe when did it start? Like the time frame in which it's been really popular among college students. When, where. So what kind of questions could you ask about where? Maybe like, where have you observed this trend? Maybe where is it more popular? I don't know if there's a place where it's more popular. But since you've only been in Kearney, really, I think this couple months probably, you'd probably have to restrict it to Kearney. When, where, then why. And we talked a lot about maybe why you might observe this trend in people your age as opposed to maybe people of different ages. And then how. Maybe, like, the type of maybe going more into the reasons behind it, like how is it that this is easier for you to travel versus maybe, I don't know, like a 60-year-old to travel. So like those are the kind of questions you want to ask yourself for this essay.